Hello, hello. Oh, need to get my lighting out of the way. How are we all doing today? Hello, hello. If you've not painted with me before, we're going to have a fun live painting session today, a nice quick fun one. If you've not painted with me before, hello, I am Silka. I help people who have never painted before become confident artists with easy to follow step-by-step painting tutorials and personal coaching. And today I'm going to show you how to paint a gorgeous, colorful flower. Yay. Now, if you've always wanted to learn to paint, or maybe you've even got your art supplies already, but you've got no idea what to paint, this free tutorial is for you today. Now, you could stay stuck waiting for painting ideas, not sure what to paint, wishing you could just get started, enjoying the absolute buzz of painting because it is awesome. Wishing and waiting for ideas, but never actually pick up a paintbrush. Or maybe you've got all your supplies ready and you're excited to paint and you've just been staring at a blank canvas, as you're waiting for ideas to come and all you're hearing is crickets. And you're getting frustrated because you just want to paint already. And painting is fun. Now, my paint clubbers know, and my customers, my students know, they've figured out that you don't actually need ideas first. They know exactly what to do, and they, when they want to paint, because they're not stuck for ideas. They know the easiest way to get painting without having to rack your brains for ideas first is to follow step-by-step tutorials for paintings that someone else has already come up with. Yay! And that's why I offer easy to follow painting tutorials like this one so that you can paint my ideas. You don't have to come up with your own. Awesome. So just like this one I'm sharing today, I'm going to show you step by step how to paint this happy orange flower design today. So you can enjoy the fun of being creative and creating your own quick little colorful masterpiece without having to rack your brains for ideas first. There's no brain strain required at all. We're just going to skip straight to the painting fun. Woohoo! Yay! Hi, Rena. Thanks for saying hi. Anyone else here? Let me know who's here. Say hi. Let me know where you're watching from. This is a super easy way to learn to paint. I'm going to give you exact instructions from start to finish, and I'm going to show you how to create your own little gorgeous flower painting. All right, now while we're going to paint, while we're having fun learning how to paint this one, you will also learn how to sketch the design onto your canvas. Hi, Leah. Great to have you here as well. I'm going to teach you how to sketch your design onto your canvas. It's super easy. I'm going to teach you how to blend the colors to create the beautiful texture that we get on the petals, and the shading as well. And I'm going to show you how to layer your colors to add some vibrance and contrast as well. And while we paint, you are naturally going to grow your confidence, your creative confidence as well. Best of all, you do not need many supplies to enjoy this free painting tutorial. I'm going to show you exactly what brushes and colors I use. Boom, easy, no thinking required. Just grab your brush and follow along. Super easy and fun, and you will end up with a beautiful little painting that you created all by yourself. Yay! So say hi. Let me know who's here. Let me know if you're painting with me live today or if you're painting on the replay. So all you need to paint this one, I'm just going to be using a small, I've got a number 4 round brush. Okay, so I'll just give you a size comparison there. Did I clean my nails? Not really. So I'm going to use a number 4 brush, and I also have a small liner brush. All right. Now, it doesn't have to be exactly these size, just anything that you have on hand. Now, I'm painting on this little cute canvas today purely because I was looking for a larger one and I came across a whole stack of these gorgeous little ones, and they're just so fun to paint on, and they're just if you just want a quick little painting fix, they are super cool to paint on, and they make great gifts. And if you paint this one in lots of different colors and hang them all next to each other on a wall, they're going to look fantastic. So yes, I'm only using 2 brushes today, a small round brush and a little liner brush. And the colors I will be using today, I'm going to be painting with 2 reds. I've got a warm red and a cool red. Now I'm using both of these because they are both different shades of red and they work really well together to get that light and dark of the petals. And I have a warm yellow and a bit of black and also a teensy tiny smidge of white as well for later on. But you can use any colors you like. Pick your favorite colors and paint your flower with that. The principle of how you paint your flower is the same, all right? So like I said, I'm going to use a small canvas. It's just a little 10 by 10 canvas, and these are so cute to paint on. And, you know, if you've only got a little bit of time to paint, brilliant, all right? So let me get started painting. Okay, so what we're going to do first is we are going to sketch. I'm just going to get out of your way a little bit so you can see what I'm doing. First thing we're going to do is we're going to use our round number 4 brush. All right. So it doesn't matter if you don't have the exact same thing, just something that's got that when it's moist, it has a nice clean tip on it. All right. And we're going to sketch a rough outline of our flower. Okay, I'm just going to pop that one there. Now, when you're sketching, here's tip number 1. When you're sketching, you can use a pencil, but some of the colors are a little bit transparent, so it's always handy to I always like to sketch with paint. All right, so that way when you're painting, you actually paint over what you've sketched. So I'm just going to get a little bit of yellow, and I'm going to do what I call the twirl and pull. Let me put that down a bit further. There you go. And then you can see what I'm doing. I'm going to do what we call a twirl and pull. So I'm just going to twirl and pull my brush so that I get a nice clean tip. All right. So all I'm going to do is I'm just going to roughly, with the very tip of my brush, I'm just going to sketch in where I want my flower to be. All right. Now, I still haven't decided which way up this goes. I think it doesn't really matter. Now you can just, all we're doing is just sketching very quickly, sketching in with the tip of our brush, all right, sketching in where we want our flower to be. Now this one comes in with the petals come right in to a point in the center of the flower. All right, so I'm just going to very lightly just sketch in. Now we're going to paint over all of these. So it doesn't really matter if you don't quite get it right. Just put them roughly where you want them, making sure that each of the petals comes to a point in the center of, roughly in the center of your canvas. Okay, we're going to put some petals in behind, but we're just going to put the main front ones in. Now, if you like with a pencil, if you're sketching and you don't like where it's gone, you just sketch another line. It's all good. I'm just going to make these a bit fatter. Here we go. And then we're going to slowly just sketch these in. Now, the beauty of painting on a small canvas is it really doesn't matter if you don't quite get it how you like it. You can just paint another one. Or, you know, and this one is just so quick and easy. And this is a great one for practicing as well. And if you don't like it, you can always paint white over the top of it or get some gesso and paint over the top of it and paint another one. So I've just got the basics of my front petals in there. And now I'm just going to put a second layer in behind. All right. Now this is just a rough guide so I know where I'm going later. So now I'm just going to put the ones in behind where I want those to go roughly, very, very roughly. As you can see, I'm not taking too much time to think about this. Oh, there's probably another one in here somewhere there. And then, hang on, the beauty of this one is you can just turn it round. Nice, easy access. So there we go. So as you can see, I've been quite rough. And the idea is not to overthink it because we're here to just have a bit of fun and create a lovely little happy flower to bring some cheer to the world. So what we're going to do next is we're going to paint the inside of each petal. I'm just going to clean my brush and give it a dry on my paint rag. Always key to dry your brushes. If you don't dry them, the water in the brush will dribble down your canvas the next time you try to paint. All right. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to grab some red and I'm going to fill each petal in. I'm going to do one petal for a start, and I'm just going to fill the petal in. Literally fill the whole petal in. Load my brush with red, and I'm going to fill the whole petal in with that. This is the lighter of the two reds. So this is the warm red, which is a little bit lighter than the cool red. So I've just filled that petal in. Now you can paint around the edges, but because I'm holding this today, I'm not going to. Otherwise, I'll get smudgy fingerprints everywhere. So now without cleaning my brush, I'm going to grab some of the cool red, and I'm just going to pull that into, the warm red. And as you can see, as I just lightly brush stroke that over top of the lighter red, it creates those lovely ridges that give the petal texture. Now you can put as many or as few as you want. If you go over it too often, let me demonstrate. If you go over it too often, it will blend with the red that's underneath and go flat. All right, so now it's just one color again. Not a drama. Just grab some more red, and we just very lightly, a few strokes over the top. Oops, there's a shadow there. Let me just bring that light round. A few strokes over the top, and we're letting the brush strokes show, and we're just letting those strokes in the dark red show as well. Now I've over exaggerated this one a little bit just to show you. I want to just have that darker red at the bottom and very light strokes with the tip of my brush to let those strokes show, as you can see there. That is showing. And then we just repeat that on the other petals. But what we also want to do is just have a tiny little black at the bottom. All right, so I'm going to wipe my brush in between. I'm just going to wipe it on my rag. You don't have to wash it, just wipe it. And the very, very tip of your brush, the tiniest little amount of black. Black is very, very dominant, so you don't need very much. What I'm going to do now is I'm just going to pull that black into the bottom and do the same again. I'm just going to pull those colors into each other and just give it a darker shade at the bottom. All right, so now we've got one petal done. We're going to do all the lighter colors later. Once we've done each petal. So we've done all the darker colors, and now I'm going to wipe my brush again. I'm just going to wipe it on my rag, and I'm grab some yellow, and I'm just going to pull some yellow into the top. All right, so again, I'm just very lightly going over it so that you can actually see the yellow strokes. I probably need a little bit more there so that you can actually see the yellow strokes. All right, so the bottom of our petal is a bit darker, and then I've got some lighter strokes in the top, a bit reflecty there. So there I've done one petal. Yay. And now we just rinse and repeat, essentially, and paint the rest of our petals. Let me just move some stuff away. So we go back to the next one. We grab some light red, and we're going to do all the main front petals first. So I'm just going to go to the next one. I'm going to put my base color of the warm red. So that's the lighter red down first. Now, if you don't have a warm red, if you've just got one red, you can just either add some yellow to make it a bit more orange, or add some white to make it a little bit lighter, and then use your two shades of red. All right. So I'm going to do my main red first, and then I'm going to just lightly stroke some of the darker red over the top. Now you notice I haven't cleaned my brush. We're letting the colors blend on the brush and on the canvas, and we're just lightly stroking that in so that you can see those strokes in the paint there. All right, then I'm going to add the tiniest little dip of black, very, very small amount of black. So you can see I've probably gone a little bit much there. We can blend that in a little bit. Now, if you have gone too much, what you can do is wipe your brush. Let me just put that down. Wipe your brush and do what I call a reverse stroke. All right. So I'll just demonstrate here. We just do a reverse stroke, and what that does is just picks up all the paint. All right, so you can see I've managed to take a lot of that black paint off again. So we can wipe that on our rag and then we can blend again. We may have to get a little bit of paint back on to our canvas and we just slowly blend in. So what we want is a little bit of darker in the bottom of our petals to the darker red in the middle, and then lighter red at the top, and of course then we add a little dip of yellow. And all those yellows and reds will blend together at the top, so you'll sort of get a combination of the mid-tones, you know, the darker red in the middle and the light yellows at the top. All right, and wiping our brush in between as we go. So then we move on to the next one, same again. Now this one is a great little practice one, a really good one just to practice, just learn how brush strokes, you know, work with each other, how paint mixes together, and it's just a really good one to just have a bit of fun, get a little bit of a relaxing session of painting, because painting is good for the soul. So again, we're going red, and then we're going the dark red, and we're just pulling a few strokes into, and not going over it too much, a little bit more, not going over it too much. You can see I'm sort of starting at the bottom to the middle, but I'm letting those brush strokes show so that it creates that lovely texture that looks like petal texture. And then the tiniest dip of black at the bottom, pulling that into the red, so we just make that red look a little bit darker at the bottom. Lovely. Wiping my brush, not bothering to wash the brush because we're using all the same colors mostly anyway. And then I'm going to add a few little dips of yellow at the top just to lighten that up a little bit. So you can see there I've just done the next one. And then we just do the next ones as well. Now you can do all, as long as your paint's not drying too quickly, you can do all of them at once. Excuse me. So I'll do the next three. I'm doing all the ones that are in front first. Yay. Now the reason I'm sharing this one today, two reasons. Now the first one is that my niece, who takes not my niece, my cousin, who takes beautiful, beautiful flower photos all the time, she shared the most lovely flower photo on Facebook recently. And the minute I saw it, I thought, oh, well, when I stopped saying, wow, that's amazing, I thought, oh, gosh, that would be such a lovely one to paint. And I would love to share that with my fans and followers. So hence we are painting this one today. I did want to show you, though, her original photo. Thank you, Edina, for this beautiful photo. So here is the photo. Let me put this down. Here is the photo of her flower. I haven't actually printed it high res, but isn't it the most gorgeous flower? I'm not good with flower names. Edina, if you're watching, let us know what this flower is. She's an expert on flowers and flower essences and all the good things that flowers can do for you. But that is the original photo that I saw that my cousin shared. And I was so blown away by how beautiful it was. I just thought, oh, I've got to paint that. I've got to share that with people. So that is why, the first reason why we are painting this today. Let me carry on. So I'm doing three now. Because it's such a small painting, we can carry on while the paint is still wet. Now, the key to blending your colors on your canvas is that both colors that you're trying to blend must be wet. If one is already dry, you will need to put a little bit more of that original color on so that we can have a little bit of a blend happening. So again, just very light strokes, and I'm trying to use the tip of my brush to sort of create ridges and lines in my flower. All right. Oh, was I too low there? Sorry about that. Let me know if I drop off screen. I get so caught up in painting. You just get lost in painting. That's the beauty of it. So yes, I've got my darker red on now, and making sure there's lots of nice little streak lines in the paint. Tiniest little bit of black, and I can do all three of them at once. We just pull a little bit of that black, tiny little bit of black into the bottom of those petals, pulling that colour into the darker red. How are we doing? Who's painting with me live today? Or are you just watching and you paint on the replay? Either way is good, as long as you're painting at some point, because painting is good for your soul. So just pulling that colour in there. Now the second reason I am sharing this one today is essentially to just, you know, if you're not alone if you get stuck for ideas. You know, if you need ideas for painting, it is quite common to get a bit of artist block. If you just want to paint and you don't know what to paint, you're not alone if you get stuck for ideas. I paint regularly and I get stuck for ideas quite often as well. So that is the other reason I wanted to share this today, just to give you a nice, easy idea. Something quick and easy to paint so that you don't have to come up with the ideas. You can borrow mine. You can do mine. Lovely. Now, whenever I get stuck for ideas, I've got a big fat folder of my photos. Photos of... Oh, Joe's painting live. Hi, Joe. Hey, I'm coming up to Whangarei later in the week. Maybe we can catch up if I have enough time. So when I get stuck for ideas, what I do is I have, whenever I see a beautiful photo, or mostly it's my photos, but I just print them off and I have a big fat folder of all my favorite photos, landscapes from holidays or sunsets or sunrises or flowers or just anything I think is pretty and beautiful from photos I take, and I put them in a folder. And if I get stuck for ideas, I will go to that folder and just pick something out to paint. So now I'm just adding my yellow. So I've done my 2 reds and I'm adding my yellow highlights. And again, I'm just letting those, you can see that one's quite obvious, that one at the top there. I'm just letting those streaks show, you know, the brush strokes there show. So very light touch with the tip of your brush just to let those streaks show, let those yellow bits show. Cool. Okay, so now we're going to move on to doing the same thing, but doing the next sort of layer of petals. All right, so we're going to move to the back petals. So I've got yellow on my brush, so I'm just going to wipe that off a little bit. But yes, I also believe that the other reason I'm sharing this is because I believe that the world needs more art. There is so much happening in the world at the moment. And art just brings joy to the world. Art brings happiness to the world. And I think of the moment I saw my cousin's photo of this flower, how happy it made my heart. And it made me happy. It made me smile. So my goal was to share that happy, heart-lifting vibe with you today by sharing this colourful painting. And I hope it makes you happy while you paint. And I hope it helps you lift your heart while you paint. And when you look at it later, it's gonna, you know, make you smile as well, and it's gonna bring a bit of color and joy to your world as well. And it'll make other people smile when they see it too. Yay! All right, so I'm just doing the next layer back, and again, I'm just a reminder: if your brush is quite full of paint, just do a twirl and pull, and it'll take most of the paint off your brush. And you will be left with a nice clean tip, and you can get into those little tight corners. We're going to add a little bit of color over the edges of our petals later, so you don't have to worry too much about, you know, getting perfect edges. So I'm just going to do maybe 2 or 3 petals at once, just to speed it up a little bit. Okay, so I'm just filling in those back petals now. So same principle. We start with our lighter red, then we pull a few, dip in without cleaning our brush. We just dip our brush in the darker red and we pull a few streaks of that darker red through. Now we want these back petals to be a little bit darker, so we'll start with the darker red more more further into the middle. That's not a good sentence. Further up, more further out into the middle. That's not even a worse one. You know what I mean? You want the petals to be darker. So you start with the red, the dark red on the first layer of petals we started in the middle. This one we're sort of pulling it right from the center. So I've done my light red, my dark red. If you've got a lot of brush on your paint, that's not right, a lot of paint on your brush, just wipe it on your paint rag. And then we do the same again with our little dips of black, and we pull that black in through from the center of our petals. Now it's going to look a bit weird until we get those little highlights on, or not weird, but just not quite right. Now careful not to get too much black. If you get too much black, it is going to go quite dark. But I did show you how to do that reverse brush pick up to get the paint back off again. So we're just doing the second rung of petals. We've done the first one, and we're just making these ones a little bit darker than our first row of petals. And as you can see, if you've not painted with me before, step-by-step painting is super easy. I literally show you exactly what to do every step of the way. There's no guessing involved. There's no ideas. You don't need any ideas first. You just turn up, paint, just follow along, and you will end up with a beautiful, stunning little painting all of your own. And you will love it. And you want to paint. You'll love it so much you want to paint again. Because painting is fun, and it's just so satisfying, and it's just heartwarming, and you forget about the world for a little while, and you just painting is real feel good stuff. As one of my paint clubbers, Leanne, shared with me a while ago, she said it's incredibly easy and exciting fun. Loved every minute of painting with Silka. I had never painted anything other than my nails and a house before, and was nervous to give it a go, and now I'm hooked. And Leanne is still painting with me all this time later. I'm sure painting nails and a house, I was going to say it's just as much fun, but it's not. Painting on canvas is way more fun, although painting nails is kind of cool too, though. And I have actually painted my own house, so it was not as much fun as this. But yes, once you start painting, you get hooked. You realize how much fun it is, and how many gorgeous things you can paint, and you realize that the options are limitless of what you can paint. All right, so again, I'm doing my light red, and then I'm adding my streaks of dark red in the middle, literally streaking the paint on. All right, I'm loading my brush, and you can see that I'm letting the paint sort of streak, the brush creates streaks within each petal, and that just gives each petal a lovely bit of texture. Where am I up to? That one. So I'm doing my light red for each petal. I'm doing light red, then without cleaning the brush, I'm adding streaks of dark red, and then we add little dips of black in the center, towards the center of the flower. Have I done them all? That one. And then bits of yellow as well. I think I've done them all now. Yep. So I've done all the light red and the dark red. Now I'm going to add tiny little dips of black into the last ones, and the last background petals that I've done here. Just again pulling that color into each other. If the black goes on really dominant to begin with, you just sort of pull the color into the red, and it will dull it back a little bit. Just checking that I've done. I thought I did 3 petals. Oh, there it is. There's the other one. Making these ones a little bit darker than the previous ones. There we go. So we're already off to a great start. Lovely. Okay. So we have still got some white space left. So again, I'm just going to wipe my brush on my rag, and I'm going to, just with the dark red this time, I'm going to, a bit much there, I'm just going to fill in all of these background colors. Now we're going to come back and add some detail around our petals. So we're just filling in all the base colors first. So I'm just using the very tip of my brush, a nice light touch. The more pressure you put on your brush, the thicker your strokes will be. So I'm just using the very tip of my brush and a nice light touch to get into those little corners, and we're just going to fill all of the space that's left. And this is essentially all the like the third rung of petals, so to speak. They're probably not called rungs. I love gardening, but I'm so not good. I don't know what a lot of flowers and plants are called. I'm not, up with the whole horticultural names of things. I just really enjoy the pretty colors and growing stuff. I love growing stuff. And like I said, this when I saw this photo that my cousin Irena shared on Facebook, I was like, wow, it was so beautiful. And often I will stop in my garden and just stare at a plant or a flower just because it's absolute magnificence and beauty. We are so blessed with being able to see so many lovely things in nature. All right, just checking I've got no white bits left. There's one, and there's a little bit of one. Okay, so I've got good coverage. All right, so this is our first base color. We haven't put our center in yet, but we're going to do that next. All right, so we've filled in all the background colors, and we've got a nice coverage. It's looking all a bit one color. Ooh, strange glare there. All a bit one color and a little less defined. But what we're going to do next is we're going to define all our petals. All right, so we've got all our beautiful colors down. You can see that the outside of my original here has beautiful yellow defined edges on each petal, just like on the actual flower. So here's the original photo again. Hang on. So we're going to add those yellow highlights now. All right. Now we're going to do it while the paint is still wet. So I'm just going to clean that brush and get all the red and black off. We're going to do that while the paint is still wet, remembering to dry our brush as well, so that those colors blend a little bit together. We are going to come back and add some yellow later, but what we're going to do is just put a base coat of the yellow on first. So I'm getting a nice bit of yellow, and I'm going to, from the center, I'm just going to, very tip of my brush, just going to pull that yellow color through the red. All right. So it's going to pick up the red, and that's great because it'll just blend it softly a little bit. All right. We're going to come back if we need to and put some more yellow on, but this is how we just define each petal, and we let it blend with the red a little bit. All right. So again, I'm just going to do those main ones first, and they come to a point in the middle. You're going to need to keep getting yellow because your brush is going to keep picking up red. If you pick up too much red, just wipe your brush on your paint rag. All right. So I'm just defining each petal. Now on the original, on the actual flower itself, wait, is that one? Yep. The petals are very yellow on the edges there. It's a very distinct, defined yellow edge. All right. If you want your edges to be a little softer, all you have to do is just sort of go over your brush strokes towards the center and let the reds and the oranges blend together a little bit. So you can see I've just softened back this. I've softened this one back a little bit here. Wow, I've got a lot of black paint on my hand. I'm not sure how I did that. I've just softened this one back here. All right, but this one I haven't. So you can see that's still quite nice and bold. All right, so up to you. If you want it nice and bold, you want to grab a lot of paint on your brush and just very light touch with the tip of your brush, and that will put that lovely yellow layer on. Okay. But like I said, you can see that my brush is picking up orange, as I paint sort of an orangey color because it's mixing with the red that's on the canvas. If that happens, just wipe your brush on your rag and you can get a clean lot of yellow. So we're just going to, over the top of what we've got there, we're just going to outline, very light touch, load our brush with yellow and just outline each petal. And this is where the painting really starts to pop because you're getting that contrast of colors now. Before we only had the reds and a little bit of black. Now we're adding a nice vibrant yellow. This is where our layering starts to come in. You're blending the colors with what's there, but also kind of layering another color on top. Hey, Linda, good to see you. Thanks. They are pretty colors, aren't they? I'm basing this on the original photo of the flower, but essentially you can paint this one in any colors you want. If you want to do blues and purples and any color you want, pinks and crimsons, the principle is the same. All right, so now that I've done my main, hang on, have I done that one enough? Now that I've done the main outline of the front petals, the main, you know, the closest to us petals, we're going to do the same with the back petals. We're just going to outline where they are. Same again, I'm loading my brush with yellow. And when I say loading my brush, I mean I'm putting lots of paint on, essentially, because while our paint is still wet and because our yellow is lighter, we want to layer it on top. If we don't put much paint on our brush, there's not going to be much going onto the canvas. So we want to put it on nice and thick on our brush and very light touch. If you push too hard, you're going to get a thicker stroke for starters. But it's also not gonna, you know, not gonna put as much paint down. So just a nice light gentle touch. I've just got a little bit much in the middle there, so I'm just going to put a bit more red back on there and fix that up. And I'm just wiping my brush in between if my brush has got picking up too much red. I'm just wiping my brush on my paint rag in between. Have I got them all? One more there. There we go. I think I've got them. Let me just check. Hang on. Hold it towards me. That one down there could probably be a little bit more yellow. Just check that none are sort of more obvious than others or less than others. And we're starting to get a lovely little oranginess going on with some defined petals. Hang on. There's one. I can see it on the screen. It's on the other side. Going the wrong way. There. That one. Cool. Okay. So we have now our Linda's asking, is it a similar principle to the sunflower? Yes, sort of, but the sunflower, there's a lot more blending involved. This one, we're actually pulling streaks of color through. So it's a similar but slightly, same but different, slightly different technique this time. The sunflower is a lot more blended, whereas this is actually creating purposeful streaks in your brush strokes to create the texture. This Linda is referring to the Simply Blessed sunflower painting. It's an on-demand tutorial. It's a beautiful hue. It's a much bigger, it's this big canvas, a nice big sunflower, very happy big sunflower. Okay, so we've done all our petals, we've done all our edges, and I've showed you how to soften the edges. If you don't want very bright edges, you just go over your, I'll do one here. You just go over the edge of your yellow so that it blends a little bit further with the red that's underneath. I'm just showing you that. I do want it to be a little bit more defined, so I'm just going to put a little bit more back on there. Lovely. Okay, what are we doing next? We need to add the center now. We've got all our petals on. We need to add the center. So I'm just going to wipe my brush again and load it with yellow. Okay, now that we've got our center on, we're just going to literally do lots of little dabs, and we're going to just dab the center of our flower on. All right. Load your brush with yellow. We're going to add a second layer of dabbing into our center later. But for now, we're just going to put loads of yellow and just create the center. You can make it as big or as small as you want. So we're just dabbing. Let me just check that, making sure there's no white showing anywhere. There's a little bit of white there, so I'm just going to go around. You will pick up a little bit of the orange, but that's fine. I say orange because we had red and we added yellow, and that makes orange. So I'm just going to keep dabbing. Just check that it is a circle, roughly. All right, and that you're happy with the shading of the color. All right, so I've got my center there, and this adds a little bit of texture as well. If you do light little, I don't know if you can see that, but it's got little bumps in the paint. You see that? There's actual, can I hold it sideways? There's actual bumps and ridges in the paint itself, which give the center of the flower, again, a lovely texture. You can see that, oh, there you go, that's the right angle. You can see there's little bumps where the paint is a little bit thicker. So that gives the center a real feel of, you know, the seeds in the center of your painting. Okay. Now we're going to switch to the liner brush. Now, whenever I'm not using a brush, I make a habit of just leaving it in water so it doesn't dry out while I'm painting. And we're going to switch to the little liner brush. So any like small, thin brush that's nice and easy to use, we're going to switch to now. And we're going to paint the black parts on the petals. So that is these little parts here. These little black details around here. We're going to add the yellow next, but we're going to paint the black little parts in first. All right. Now, up to you if you want to dry your painting first or not. I'm a chronic smudger. I often lean on my painting and then lean again and end up smudging. So up to you if you want to paint, if you want to dry yours first or not. I'm not. I'm going to be daring today and not. But I'm going to add a little bit of black on the edge of my, on the tip of my brush. And all I'm going to do is just create these little center black bits. All right. I'm going to put the yellow on top afterwards. So we're going to just create these little we're going to pull these light little bits, tiny little streaks off the bottom of each petal. Oh. So light little streaks, and we're sort of creating a sort of a curved shape. All right. So each one, we're going to put the yellow in. But each petal has a little streaks of black, creating that sort of curved shape with a little bit of a gap in the middle where the yellow will go. And that includes the back ones as well. So tiny little bit of black paint on the edge, on the tip of my brush. That's a lot. So I'm just going to let it blend across all of them. Now, it doesn't matter too much if you go a little bit dark. They are quite, as you will have seen on the original, on the photo, they are quite dark. So I'm just, oh, I missed one there. Doesn't really matter which way you go. Anyone painting different colors today? I can't wait to see them. Anyone painting different colors today? That'd be cool. So I'm just putting light little streaks on the inside, the very inside of our petals. Oh, I missed the black there. I didn't get any. And you want to make sure they're all roughly the same shade. You know, that you haven't got some darker than others. Although nature's pretty awesome. There often is a little bit of asymmetry in nature. That one, have I got all of them? I missed that one. It's not as dark. Okay, just checking. Yep, that's pretty cool. Oops, sorry, I bumped you there. Okay, so it's looking a little odd. It's got all those dark centers in now, but we're going to add the light bit on top and it'll start looking fabulous. All right, cool. So just make sure you've got all your centers. Now, don't worry too much about your edges. We can touch those up. Okay, next what we're going to do is we're going to clean this brush. I'm just going to put that down for a second and dry this brush. And we are going to add the yellow streaks on top, all right? Now you will want to load your brush. So you can see I've got tons of yellow paint on my brush there. Because you're painting directly onto black, you want to load your brush and just sort of pull those colors into the center there. All right, you may pick up a little bit of black as you go. If that happens, just wipe your brush, get some clean yellow, and we're just going to pull a little streak into each of those black sections. Again, very light touch. You can paint downwards or upwards. It doesn't really matter, but you just want to paint very light touch and just get that nice little streaky yellow into the center of those blacks. All right, leaving the majority of the black showing. Okay, I'm just going by what nature did on that beautiful photo that my cousin took, my cousin Edana. All right, so now we've got yellow on. Oh no, we missed one. I missed that one. Oh, and that one. Okay, check you haven't missed any because I'm missing a few. Where was it? There. Actually, I missed two. But the key is very light touch. If you press too hard with your brush, you will push into the black underneath. All right, very light touch, and you will layer that color on top rather than blending it with what's underneath. All right, so now we've got those lovely yellow centers and each petal. There's lovely little yellow tips of each petal. Okay, just check that you're happy with them. That one could be a bit longer. Lovely. And then if you want to, you can, using this brush, just sort of touch up the points of each flower if you want to. You don't have to. And you can go over your yellows if you want to add any extra flavor there. All right. And we're nearly there. We just want to add a little bit of white now to some yellow. So I've got my yellow and I'm going to grab a big dollop of white and I'm just going to lighten that up. Mix myself a nice light yellow and we're going to add the center dots in the middle. So yellow with a bit of white. Now you can decide how light or how dark you want this. I'm going to go reasonably light, and what we're going to do is we're going to, once again, we're going to load our brush and we're going to do those little dots and the very tips of the yellow. All right, so where I've got those yellow streaks, all right, at the tip of each, I'm going to add a dot. Boop. All right, and this is where, again, we're adding contrast between the lighter colors and the darker colors, and that makes all the colors pop a little bit more. Again, you're painting on wet paint, so you may need to, your brush will pick up some of that black underneath, and once it starts to, just give your brush a wipe. We'll pick up some more paint. Where are we up to? See, the joy of these little canvases is that you can hold it in your hand and you can just flick it around nice and easily. Lovely. And then we just put these last little dots on the tips of each. And there we have it. Our beautiful little flower painting. Yay. What do you think? Do we like it? I'm thinking I need a little bit more definition on my yellow. I am liking it, but compared to my original. There's a little more definition on the yellow, you can see there. It will soften back a little bit once it dries. But if that's the case, if you're not happy with, how it's defined, how each petal is defined, you can add a little bit more, get a little bit more yellow. I'm just going to load my brush again with yellow, and I'm just going to go back over those original yellow outlines. Now, again, I'm picking up some of the paint underneath. If I want it to be bolder, the yellow, I can dry it with a hairdryer, and that will then layer on top rather than mixing with what's already there. So I'm just going to make these a little bit bolder this time, all of them. Still blending with the color that's underneath a little bit, but if I'm gentle with the touch, then I'm layering a little bit on top of what's sort of already starting to dry. But like I said, if you want the colors to be bolder on top, pull out your trusty hairdryer, or go and grab a cup of tea by the time you get back, or a glass of wine actually at this time of night. But go grab a cup of tea and it'll be dry by the time you get back. Or yeah, dry it with a hairdryer, and then you can layer another color layer of yellow on top. How are we doing? We're nearly there. Awesome. That's a little bit better. So that's a little bolder now. I've missed that one. I think I've got them all now. Yay. Yay! Another happy flower. And this one seems, I'm just going to soften the inside of some of these. This one seems really like that couldn't be a real flower. But it totally is. I showed you the see, this is the photo that my cousin shared. That is the flower. It is that bold and that striking and that gorgeous. And we have just painted exactly this one. Now with the center, we can also go in and just define our center a bit with that lighter yellow that we mixed. So that yellow and the white. So just a little round the outside of the center of our flower. Again, we've let the yellow dry a little bit. We're just going to do lots of little dots around the outside of that yellow center. And you will pick up a little bit of the yellow that you've already got there. That's why it's really crucial to be really gentle with your touch, and just lots of little dots. And that just defines the outside of our flower a little bit better. What do we think? Do we like? Do you like my new flower? Yay! I was so happy when I saw that when I saw my cousin Elena's photo, and I was like, yes, got to paint that. Oh, I like that one. That's a nice bold one as well. Lovely. All right. So we had some fun painting today. I hope you enjoyed that. Let me just get you back on screen. Hang on, I'm off screen. There we go. There I am. Look. Okay, not all of me though. So I hope you enjoyed that. It was such a fun one. And oh, I'm still not on screen. We had some fun painting our flowers. I would love to see your flowers. Linda's loving the texture. Thanks, Linda. I hope yours is having some lovely texture too. I would love to see your flowers. I'd love to see what you've painted. So pop a picture below when you're done. Watching now or watching on replay, take a quick photo, pop a picture below. So we can, let's see how many different colors we can share. Let's brighten everything up. Let's brighten the world up with lots of different colored flowers. Now, I showed you that you do not need to come up with ideas of what to paint before you get started painting today. You could waste tons of valuable painting time waiting for your own ideas, racking your brain, coming up with your own ideas, and miss all the fun and enjoyment of painting. Or you could be more like my students and paint clubbers and just follow my painting ideas. Yay! And I make it nice and easy, super easy, to do, just just like we did today, step by step, all beautiful, easy painting tutorials. So now that you know you can paint without needing ideas first, you may be thinking, oh my goodness, this was so much fun. What can I paint next? If you'd like to try another easy, quick painting, go check out my blog. All right. There, heartforart.co.nz. Click on blog in the menu and the links, and you'll find a whole heap of other, scroll through, there's a whole heap of other little fun, slightly larger than that, yay big, whole heap of other fun little quick painting tutorials you can do. You'll have some fun with it. There's a load of other really useful, helpful painting tips there as well while you're there. And if you want to try a bigger painting, like this big, I've got tons of easy, colorful painting tutorials to choose from as well. They're all step by step, just like we did today. And they all come with a full supply list. So again, you won't need to come up with your own ideas or even think about what you need. I've done it all for you. Boom, easy. Just choose what you'd like to create and you'll get everything straight to your inbox. Easy. Just go to my website, heartforart.co.nz, and in the menu, click on demand painting tutorials. And you can go have a browse and paint something else fabulous and colorful. Yay. Thanks for watching today. Thanks for painting with me today. If you did, can't wait to see your happy, colorful flowers. Don't forget to share them. Now, if you enjoyed this quick free tutorial, share some love, like it, tell others about it. If there's anyone else you know who would enjoy this, pass it on. Let's share colorful, happy painting joy with everybody. The whole world needs more painting joy. And don't forget to subscribe. If you're watching here or on YouTube or wherever you're watching, don't forget to subscribe, and then you won't miss any more painting tutorials. I've got loads of ideas coming up. Leah says, thank you. My pleasure, Leah. Always happy to share new paintings with you. But yes, don't forget to subscribe wherever you're watching. Then you won't miss anything on YouTube. I think you have to click the little notification bell so you'll know as soon as I share another painting. And I would be super grateful if you loved it. I'd love it if you could leave me a review. Leave me a review. Let me know if you painted this one or any other one with me before. So I'd love it if you leave me a review, especially if it's a 5-star one. Yay. All right. Thank you for joining me today. Have fun creating your flower paintings. Don't forget to post a pic of your finished painting below so we can just bring lots of color to the world and brighten up the world with all your lovely flowers. And like I said, if you want to check out more of my free tutorials or on-demand tutorials, heartforart.co.nz. Click on blog in the menu and you'll find some there, or check out my on-demand tutorials. And there's loads. There's even the sunflower is there that Linda mentioned before. It's a nice big giant happy colorful sunflower is there as well. So go check those out on my website. Thanks again for joining me. I hope there's beautiful, colorful flowers popping up everywhere as you paint this one. I cannot wait to see them. Please do share them. And I hope to see you behind a paintbrush again soon. Thanks, everyone. Cheers. Thanks for watching. Bye.